I just have it for you. It's a presentation, let me know.
I'd like to call to order the Planning Commission meeting of Wednesday, December 20th, 2017. And would everybody stand and follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the city planner please call the roll?
Yes, Commissioner Rulon.
Here.
Commissioner Blackwell.
Here.
Commissioner Talley.
Here.
Commissioner Brown.
Here.
Commissioner Crandall.
Here.
Commissioner Wu.
Here.
And Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Thank you.
Very good. There's no special orders of business tonight. We do have some minutes to approve. Minutes from the regular study session for the Planning Commission meeting of November 8th, 2017. If there's any, do I have a motion or is there some corrections that are required? Don't be bashful. I move to approve the study session minutes of 8 November.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Brown and a second by Crandall. All in favor? Aye.
I abstain.
And Mr. Talley abstains. Minutes from the regular planning mission meeting of November 8th, 2017. Now, are any corrections or do we have a motion?
I move we approve of those minutes.
I have a motion by Commissioner Rulon. Do I have a second? Second.
No, that was November. November 8th.
November 8th.
We're not on.
December
No,
6th.
we are not on December. Sorry about that. Pardon me.
Took my breath away.
So it was.
Motion by Rulon
Commissioner Rulon,
and
second
by Commissioner Wu to approve. Second.
Okay, thank you.
The minutes of the Planning Commission meeting of November 8th. Next are the minutes from the regular study session of the Planning Commission meeting of December 6th. A motion.
We'll be abstaining for that one.
Okay,
I'll make
now
a
we-
motion to approve.
Okay, and a second to approve? A motion by Talley, second by Blackwell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So it passes 4 with 3 abstentions. Okay. Next, the minutes from the regular Planning Commission meeting of 6 December 2017, and I do have a correction for that. On page 5, the first bullet at the bottom of the page, noted that the applicant can apply for freeway-oriented signage per the development agreement between the city and the developer of the outlet mall, period. Then replace which with this allows the developer to use the sign code in place at the time of approval of the development agreement. Do you have that? Is that clear enough for you, Eileen? Or do you want to read
The applicant can apply, noted that the applicant can apply
for the
freeway-oriented.
signage
Okay.
Yeah,
per the development agreement?
I think it's important to make sure that the noted agreement that freeway-oriented signage is allowed is removed. Okay.
Thank you.
I think that, with that, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Mr. Talley, a second? I'll second the motion. Motion by Talley, second by Brown. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And passes 4-0-3 with 3 abstentions. And with that, there is no new business tonight, I think. Well, let's go back to current items when I find my agenda here. After the minutes of oral discussion, is there anybody in the audience that wishes to speak tonight on any item that is not on our agenda tonight? You please step forward and state your name and make your statement.
I've got one item. I wasn't here for the study session last week, and I know Amber and staff are very modest, and I wanted to thank them for everything they've done for the year. They make us look good sometimes. Sometimes we don't take advantage of it. But the whole staff, both engineering and everyone. I know I appreciate it, and I'm sure everybody else does, so thank the entire staff, and we'll certainly do it in private, but you warrant having that said in public.
I'll second that.
And happy holidays to all of you.
Very good.
Thank you.
There's nothing on our consent calendar tonight, so we'll start the public hearing. Time limit for applicants, 10 minutes, and all other speakers, 3 minutes. And the public hearing process includes a staff presentation by any applicant not to exceed 10 minutes, and public testimonies. Facilitate the meeting. All attendees, the public, is asked to limit their individual presentation to 3 minutes. Following closure of the public hearing, the Planning Commission will respond to questions raised during the hearing and discuss issues and act upon the matter by motion. Tonight, item 8A is Municipal Code Amendment, Zoning Amendment 17-204, Density Bonus Update. Ms. Stonich, welcome to the
Good evening. Good evening, Commission, members of the Commission, or excuse me, Chair and members of the Commission. Tonight we have a presentation for our density bonus. And just as a review, density bonus provides bonuses, incentives, waivers to housing developers for inclusion of affordable units. It rewards a developer who builds a certain percentage of low-income housing. And the intent of this is to result in more housing for senior and low-income families. The requirements by the state planning and zoning law include density bonus, incentives, concessions, parking, waivers of development standards. There were 6 new assembly bills that were incorporated into our update. You can see them here. I'll go through them just briefly. AB 2222 was requiring a developer to replace existing affordable units on a 1-to-1 basis, and it extends the affordability from 30 years to 55 years. It also expands incentives to conversions from rental apartments to for-sale condominiums, which it hadn't before. So changes that affected the San Clemente Municipal Code included the replacement of, or the addition of a new section which described replacement, and it changed the terms to 55 years. It also added a new section for condominium conversions. Oops, excuse me, I think I skipped something. Ooh. AB 2556, it was a clarification code. It was related to the replacement housing if these units were demolished. So essentially it just added a new definition to clarify the size by rooms. So in changing that affected the municipal code here, we added clarifying section that units demolished in the 5-year preceding must be replaced. It also incorporated the term equivalent size. AB 744 was a provision that added to reduce parking ratio for those affordable units located within a half mile of major transit stop. So we made a minor revision for parking incentives so that the ratio should not exceed 0.5 spaces per unit. AB 1934, this added actually a whole new section 65915.7 of the government code. And what that did is that it provided development bonus for commercial development partners. This allowed some flexibility for developers to team up with affordable units. There is also a sunset provision to this. So as of January 1st, 2022, this will expire. It's a whole new section in the municipal code and has that sunset that it will be repealed as of January 1, 2022. Assembly Bill 2442. This expanded the type of housing that qualify for density bonus. This would include transitional foster youth, disabled veterans, and homeless persons. So in our municipal code, we included a subsection for the development that entitles bonuses and incentives section, and that at least 10% of the units are for these types of housing. AB 2501 requires agencies to provide expeditious processing of density bonus applications. essentially, this is following the Permit Streamlining Act, and that we would use a list to deem an application complete. It also clarifies calculation of project density. Now, we already had the Streamlining Act in our process, but we added the inclusion of a provision for fractional units, that they be rounded up to the next whole number. So the proposed zoning amendment is intended to advance the state's goals to accommodate current and future needs for affordable and special needs housing. And this zoning amendment would revise the municipal code, Title 17, relating to density bonus, to meet state mandates and also to implement our housing element goals. With that, staff recommends that the Planning Commission make a recommendation that the City Council adopt an ordinance to approve the zoning amendment 17204 in compliance with the government code, subject to the draft resolution before you.
Okay, any other questions of staff at this time? Mr. Rulon?
I do.
Mr. Rulon, I think, got to like first.
Yeah, thank you, by the way, for the presentation. One question I had was on page 17. This is the, in the track changes.
Red line?
Document, the red line document. This is about halfway down, the marked paragraph B. We've got this list for paratransit, this requirement for paratransit service within, needs to be within half a mile of public transit. I'm just wondering if that's a state standard or if that's our standard. It just seemed like if someone needs paratransit at going a half a mile, up to a half a mile away, to access that might be a little long, but if that's state standards, then that's what we'll follow. I'm sorry, but yeah, the paragraph marked B.
Okay, paragraph B.
Sorry about that.
Little B.
Oh, little b, big B, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs down. I hadn't realized there was another paragraph B there.
I suspect that that is part of, let's see, I'm going to go to the section here.
So the question really is,
Whether they,
Is that our standards or is that a
I
state
think it's state
standard?
mandate.
really?
I believe that's a
I
state
believe it's
standard.
744, yes. Let me
Okay.
refer to 744.
And while she's looking that up, that's language that we also saw recently when we started looking at accessory dwelling units too, that also said that if you were within a quarter mile of a transit stop, I think it has almost the exact same verbiage, that parking isn't required. So that's why I believe it's a state requirement.
SB2 kind of had the half-mile thing, although it wasn't
Okay.
locked in stone.
Yeah, the state seems to have a trend with that. Yeah.
I assume we could make it smaller if we wanted to, but this is the state mandated minimum.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
In looking through 744, if I only had that computer to search the word paratransit, I'm sure I could come up with that quite quickly.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, actually, if you look at Senate Bill SB 44 on the next to last page of that, it doesn't have a page number.
No.
It says big B if the yeah, it's C.
Yes, you're right.
Or, sorry, big B is within 1/2 mile.
Okay, so that comes out of the legislative.
It does.
Okay,
So
good.
B, and I'm showing it 10 of 11 on 744,
Correct.
and that's your third attachment.
Agree with that page number. Commissioner, are you satisfied, Commissioner Rowland?
Yeah.
Mr. Australia?
Yeah. That's what they say down there. Yeah. I'm curious about how often this bonus system has applied itself in the city of San Clemente, say in the last 5 years. Is there a certain number of maybe projects that have fallen under this?
All of the affordable housing that we've developed, so the most recent ones would be Cotton's Point, as well as Avenida Serra, the Las Palmas development, did have a density bonus associated with them, as well as incentives that were granted with those developments in compliance with density bonus requirements in state law.
So it's well used then?
Yes, when affordable housing developments do come up, these requirements are highly relied upon for them in order to be able to meet the requirements that are imposed on them.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Wu?
Oh, yeah, Mr. Smith just asked a question that I wanted to ask, but I have some additional questions. In our housing element, I noticed that the moderate income housing, the city has a big gap from the regional housing need assessment, while the low income and very low income seem to be more or less okay. Is there any way that the city has some, it seems like with all the mechanisms in place, that the moderate income housing does not get built. Is there any additional measure the city is considering to encourage those?
Yes, the city has recently initiated a survey that went out to the public, and we issued a press release on that as well to help solicit information, and that had to do with the city's housing and lieu fees that have been collected through market rate developments. And the city has a good amount of money now to actually be able to put towards developments that are applying for tax credits or other other incentives in order to help build affordable housing. The moderate housing is incredibly hard to build because of the cost of land here at the city.
Why it is harder than the low income or very low income?
So the way that the financing, my understanding is that there are a lot more tax credits based on lower affordability levels. So when you go up above the 80% level, those tax credits and those incentives and are harder to come by for that bracket. So that 80% to 120 of median income is the hardest to fill.
Okay.
That's-
Thank you.
It's the high tenant.
Another question is, the affordability of for rent units has been guaranteed for 30 years, now it's extended to 55 years. For the for sale affordable housing, except for what we have here, we refer to this, I think it's, the city has some right to get the money back. There's an agreement that city has to, the developer has to sign with the city because the city gives them a concession. So when they sell the product and when they sell the homes, the city will take a proportional gain from that sale. So except for that, is there any other way there to make sure that those housing are continue to be affordable for a comparable period of time with the for rental products? It looks like once someone decides to sell that for sale housing, then yeah, they get some money because the real estate appreciated, and the city get a portion of that. And then that housing is not affordable anymore. Is that correct?
That is not my understanding of how that works. When a sale is done on a for sale, you do get some appreciation based on the market and what that increase is, because everyone assumes that their house is going to appreciate a certain amount. But that house can only be capped at a certain amount for the next sale. So you cannot have somebody purchase a property at a low income level and then make a huge gain profit, let's say, when they decided to flip it and sell it. And let's say that the value, if it were not restricted to affordable, was $1 million, but they bought it for $300,000. That's not how that works. It's a maxed out profit that they can do or gain that they can do, and then it has to be sold to another affordable family for a certain amount of time. I don't know the specifics of that, but that's typically how that works. And Scott?
Yeah, so that's right. If, though, someone does it without our knowledge, usually there'll be a lien. The agreements vary from lender to lender, program to program.
But the escrow would
the
catch
city will,
that.
yeah, the city will have a lien in there and a note on title. Now, if somebody sells it at market and we catch them at it later, or the bank asks us to release it, they're allowed to do that, but their share of the gain is only up to the affordability level. And then the delta is paid to the city as a penalty, which the city can in turn use to buy down a replacement home. So ideally, if someone's selling at market, some of the programs allow them to, but then they have to pay a penalty to the city, i.e. the difference between the 80% of market and the market, and then we use that to buy down another unit or to put forward to a future project, so your inventory stays at its goal.
I understand that they cannot profit from that. I get that. But those homes, once they were sold at a market rate, they're no longer affordable.
Right.
As you explained, the city recruit some of the money, and they can use that money to
buy down
for different
inventory.
Okay, thank you.
Tally.
Yeah, I just, what low-income housing districts do we have in this city right now? You mentioned Cottonwood and one other.
Cotton Point.
Cotton Point, sorry, Cottonwood.
That's senior.
Yeah, that is.
No, you know more about it, Nick.
So they're not districts, but
okay.
we have an affordable housing overlay that runs pretty much all along El Camino Real in our commercial zone designations. And then we do have individual affordable developments. Some are age restricted, some are not age restricted. So there's an affordable housing development in Talega called Mendocino. That's one of our largest ones, and that's family. We have the one right across the street that's now called the Presidio, that used to be called Casa de Seniors. We have Cottons Point, which is also a senior housing development. The Village on the north end of town off of Estrella, and that's a senior housing development. Avenida Serra, which is our newest one, that one's workforce housing. And I think I'm missing one more in there off the top of my head. And then we also have a couple that we paired with Mary Erickson Housing, where we have purchased condominiums and rehab them for rent developments. And we have another Mary Erickson Housing one down in, I think the Maxburg Park area is where it's located at.
And I'm going to assume that in all of those areas, we haven't seen any higher incidents of crime or any other types of issues.
No, we have not.
Okay.
The Las Palmas area is a higher crime area just because there's a Mexican gang down there, but not because of the affordable housing stuff.
Okay, well, it was just one of the points on the findings, so I just needed to ask the question.
Sure.
So, thank you.
Okay, the only question I have on page 7 is any inconsistent with the zoning ordinance or the general plan will not be able to override this thing. So I'm assuming that we have looked back at our general plan or our zoning ordinance. Do we have to do an update now because of updates to this ordinance since we've got out of sequence so long with our housing element that you know of?
Go ahead.
No, the section of the general plan that this applies to is our housing element. And so this is
got that done.
consistent with our housing element that we recently adopted. And we said that we would bring it up to state requirements by the summer of 2018. So we're just trying to make sure we're staying on track with that.
Okay, so this all supports that. Okay, is there any other questions of staff? Let's open the public comment. And we'll close the public comment and go into discussion of our motion. Any discussion? Okay.
Would like to make a motion, which is, I believe, resolution, unless, did I cut anybody off? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Resolution, which I believe number PC 17039, which is a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of San Clemente, California, recommending the City Council amend Section 1724070 of the San Clemente Municipal Code relating to the provision of density bonuses and other incentives for affordable housing projects and senior citizen housing developments.
Have a motion by Talley, second by Commissioner Crandall. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes 7-0. Good job, Mrs. Stoner.
Thank you.
There's no new business on our schedule or no old business. Reports of commissioners and staff, tentative future agenda. Anything on tentative future agenda? I guess we won't meet till the 17th, I think it is, of January, right?
No, enjoy your holidays.
And is the yearly calendar going to be available to electronically forward to us soon?
Yes, we finalized that today. There are 2 dates in June that we're going to ask to make sure that you guys are okay with, but yes, we will have Lisa forward that out for the end of the year.
Okay, because I know you guys are going to go dark here real quick. so-
Yes, we are.
Okay. With that, wish staff and everybody happy holidays, happy Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. All the special commissioners, city attorney, we're privileged tonight to have you in attendance. Yeah.
Just the first?
I'll get the second.
I move we adjourn to the next regular study session of the Planning Commission that will be held at 6 PM on January 17, 2018, in council chambers at City Hall located 100 Avenida Presidio, San Clemente, California.
Motion by Chairman Mr. Canoff, second by Ruin, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. Good job, Ms. Stoner.